You're watching TVC Breakfast. Let's get into our next discussion now. Election season is upon us, and already the 2023 general election is taking center stage in public discourse. Ahead of the polls, the push for another party aside the governing All Progressives Congress and the People's Democratic Party have begun. The goal is for the new party, termed as the third force, to produce the next president. A new phase that will inject fresh ideas into governance and change Nigeria for the better. Citing bad leadership as the cause of Nigeria's many challenges, the proponents of the third force movement are of the opinion that the country needs a new direction to tackle Nigeria's social, economic and political woes. That is the crux of our next discussion right now. So joining me on Zoom for more on this issue is the lead speaker on Poverty and Affirmative Action, NC Front Shadow Government, Adewole Adebayo. It's nice to have you join me on the program, and compliments of the season to you.
Thank you very much. Merry Christmas and happy holidays.
Great.
Thanks for the invitation.
Thank you. Now, let's start this way. We hear a lot of political discussions going on, and it seems like the polity is heating up a little bit. Some would say it's quite early to talk about or act towards 2023. Others are saying, well, in politics, it is not too early at all. What do you say about being early or not too early, or being the right time to begin to make these moves?
Well, every moment counts. For us in the NC Front, it's never too early. In fact, we are 8 years too late. And for many Nigerians, we are 21 years too late. Many of the things that we are supposed to get right are supposed to be gotten right as of yesterday. So 2023, in terms of the mechanical aspect of preparing for elections, giving Nigerians a credible transition, even the timetable illustrated by the Independent National Electoral Commission requires that by February 18, 2023, we should have been going to the poll to elect a new president. So it shows to you that it's just like a year from now. So it means that a political party or a political movement, which is not made of money bags, which is going to rely on the strength of its popularity with the people, needs to be talking to people now. But beyond that, and besides that also, the problems facing Nigerians can't wait till 2023. The insecurity, the hunger, the despair, and all of the other problems that we're facing, it's wrong to think that you can postpone people's aspirations to 2023. So some of the errors being committed by the government require immediate intervention, require alternative perspective, even the idea of giving hope to the Nigerian people so that they would know that the hopelessness of the present administration and the cluelessness of the lead opposition party, the PDP, these things do not mean that Nigerians are hopeless and that there are no solutions to our problems. And people are going spiritual, are going esoteric, despairing, and it looks like our problems define solution. So what we are trying to do in the NC Front and the third force movement is to tell people that there are alternatives. And if you think about them, the problems facing us are not insurmountable. And we should start taking action now. That's why we're proposing many of the ideas that we're proposing. So it's a two-way thing that will give people immediate solutions to problems that we have, problems that can never wait. A hungry man in any part of Nigeria cannot be told, you will be hungry till 2023. And after that, we will find a solution. The person might not be alive by then. A person whose loved ones is being kidnapped cannot be told, well, endure the kidnap and the ransom pay and the sleepless nights till 2023. So that's why we need to come out now and start to talk about these issues.
Right.
We're hoping that the government of the will have the wisdom to not look at us just as opposition, but to see us as fresh ideas are being brought for their consideration, because it looks like from their saying and from their body language that internally, either they stop fertilizing ideas within the government or they completely have run off ideas and we need to step in now.
All right. Now, the idea of the third force has been made prominent in the last few years, and it is no longer new talking about the third force. What is the composition, or what is the third force bringing on board, and what is the make of it that makes it different from other political parties, either the ruling APC or the main opposition PDP or any other political party for that matter?
Okay, the third force is bringing three things. One is giving the people control of politics. What's happening today is that just as we leave legislation to members of the legislature and we leave running of government to the appointed ministers and permanent secretaries and the civil servants, and we leave justice to lawyers and the judiciary, we have left politics for politicians. So what the third force is trying to do is to say, you are not supposed to leave the politics, you're not supposed to leave your republic into the hand of 300,000 politicians. So if you look at all the political parties in Nigeria, especially the APC and the PDP, the people who make decisions in those parties are not up to 200,000. And you will see them, the governors, the party leaders, they keep changing each other and all of that. So what the third force is trying to do is to bring 200 million Nigerians to own their own politics. That the politics should not be done for us by those who were governor yesterday, they want to be senator today, they are the ones who fund all the meetings, they call all the meetings. Virtually everything around politics, if you do your research and aggregate all the press coverage and activities going on, go around these people. One person is in one party, is crossing to the other party, he was governor before, he wants to be senator now, and things like that, they go to court. Everything of our politics is by this, just run by these people. So the first thing we're doing is taking the politics back to the people, to say at your ward level, at your polling unit level, at your local government level, at your street association level, take control of your politics. Call meetings in your neighborhood to discuss issues, to propose ideas, meetings not inspired by one politician running for one office or the other. Take control of your politics as democracy requires, as is done all over the world. Second, we are trying to aggregate together the highly idealized but very fractious opposition. You will find Tanko Yunusa is in one party. Then you also see that Patitomi is another party. Wale Kuni is another party. Akim Baba Ahmed is another party. You find that Tawi Jega is another party. And these people are patriots, they are saying the same thing. So we say, no, you need to aggregate together and come under the mega party. That's their second idea we're bringing together. It's not that Nigeria doesn't have good people. It's that these good people are scattered all over the place, and if each one has one ism or the other that is keeping him away from his fellow patriots, whereas the people who have held us down, who are mismanaging our politics, whichever way they disagree, they always come together and they be in one place. So PDP and APC have become a two-bedroom flat. So either way, you are inside one flat. So they go from the left to the right, but they are in the same political party. Essentially, APC and PDP, they are not opposing each other. That's why they formed the National Assembly together. They don't disagree in the National Assembly. They form the same presidency. So if you look at the president, he was in CPC, now in APC. His former chief of staff was a PDP stalwart. Many people will find the presidential bill, the presidency, are PDP stalwarts. His ministers, PDP governors, and all of that. So they become one ecosystem. So what we are trying to do is to now bring together people of ideas, people who have seen it all, who are not coming to government for money or position or for the ego of it, or who have no enemies to settle scores with, who just want to serve the country, bringing them together. The third element of what we are bringing into it is that we are giving opposition politics based on ideas. If you notice our shadow cabinet, almost every aspect of public policy and programs that the government says they run out of ideas. We've done all we can do. These problems, you have to live with them. We found solutions to them. The president, Muhammadu Buhari, is a lone retired army general, but he can't go to his hometown, Daura, where he comes from. He can't command armed forces. He can't solve a single problem of making sure that you can go from Kaduna to Abuja. He has all the resources, spending billions. We have solutions to these problems. We keep talking to them about it. They cannot keep the currency stable. We are not even talking about saying you need to make, you have to have parity between the Naira and the US dollar or British sterling. We are saying keep your currency stable so that from January to December, if it's going to be 500, it's 500. And everybody can plan along that. They cannot. They cannot grow our export. They cannot manage even disaster relief. They cannot inspire anything. So we are talking to them on every aspect of that. Right. Many years, they've banned importation of rice, yet rice is 36,000 for the average person, when it was 7,000 when they started their policy. Cement is 4,500. It used to be 900. So many of these things, we have solutions to them, to end their crony capitalism, to delink the merchants who supply these items from the people who run the trade ministry, so that there is no conspiracy between our civil servants and people who are making profit of it.
All right, Mr. Adebayo, the point there is all of these ideas, in fact, you've mentioned names of persons that Nigerians have great respect for. One way or the other, we still have eminent Nigerians like that in this ruling party, in the opposition party. All of the parties have eminent Nigerians that are respected one way or the other. Yet Nigerians still, make call to different dissatisfactions here and there. Now, in the third force that you're talking about, in 2011, we heard of the third force. 2015 election, we heard of the third force. 2019 election, we heard of the third force. What is different that the third force is bringing on board this time, that Nigerians will have confidence in the third force, especially the way they pass their message and the way they mobilize Nigerians?
Okay, first, what is different is that the states are different. Prior to now, the effort was about how to make Nigeria great. And people had different ideas on how to make Nigeria great. As a result, the third force did not coalesce together. They would talk about the same thing, but they had no common action. Today, we want Nigeria to be great, but the chance of that happening depends first on Nigeria surviving. So Nigeria right now is facing existential threats that it never faced before. So we didn't know that it could get this low. Now it gets to a point where not even the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria can tell you that Nigeria will be one country in peace or purpose by next year or by next week. So we've now realized the urgency of the time. So at that time, the issue of I want to be the captain, you have to come after me. I went to Harvard, I have the first class, so why should I be following you? I have experience with this and that. All of that is now laid to rest. What we are trying to do now is to make sure that we have a country to speak of at home. Now, second, we are starting earlier than we did last time, so that this time around, we know the mechanics of politicking has to take place. And that's why, thirdly, this time, we are less loud than we were last time. There's more underground movement, more of talking to people. And by the time we unveil our platform by late January, early February, you will see that a lot of hard work has gone behind it. And in the past also, people were loyal to their parties. There were strong people running these political parties, so there were people who were loyal to the parties. Now, people are more loyal to the country because all the leviathans, all the heroes have all beaten the dust at this point in time. You remember 2011, there was a Messiah, a man whose name raised anyone from the dead, called Muhammad Buhari. Now, he can't even run his own villa. So people now realize that the people of Nigeria have to individually become the heroes of their republic. And the idea of thousands and millions of people waiting for one man based on some legend about the man being this or that is not going to work. What's going to work is that each person wakes up in the morning determined that I am going to leave the country better at the end of today than when I woke up this morning. And this politics, I'm going to invest my time, my resources, and my money on this politics. And I'm not going to escort politicians to power. I'm going to ensure that I formulate policy and I pursue it with my time and resources. So in 2011, you will not see people like me. People like me will be in the court practicing law and do whatever I was doing professionally, and maybe just occasionally appear on TV to talk. But now, on a daily basis, it's full-time work for us. We try to see that Nigeria does not become a permanent basket case, which is what APC and PDP want to talk Nigeria into. And the fourth point was that people were duped past because all the major reactionary forces came together and brought President Buhari as a brand. President Buhari did not know what they were up to. He was not the person who paid for his own form. He did not form the political party. He was flying on jets and airplanes all over Nigeria. He never knew how they were paid for. He was mouthing policies and slogans that he did not help to formulate. When he came into government, he couldn't form a government because he had his political debt that he owes all over the place. So we learned from all of these lessons that we must come out, make a difference, go back to the people, go to the grassroots, and you will see when we start to announce the people who are in our politics. These are people who ordinarily you will say, well, the cows have to come home before these kind of people can ever show interest in politics. But
all right, Mr. Adebayo. The point there is, at times like this, when we get closer and deeper into political activity, we often hear the complaints of what the leader hasn't done, what the other political party hasn't done, what they haven't done, what they haven't put together, what promises they have not kept, and all of that. And then that shifts the attention from the person who wants to do what he wants to do and what promises he wants to deliver and what messages, what programs and plans he wants to implement for Nigerians. So it makes Nigerians to see the same thing over and over again, that even when something new is coming on board, the language is the same. Because if you're talking about what the president hasn't done and all of that, it still reminds Nigerians of the same way that other political parties come on board. Will the third force be towing the line of just other political parties? Because you said that it's going to be something different. It's going to be that alternative.
Ours is going to be different. We have our platform. And what's also different at this time is that you do not need to tell anyone what the government hasn't done. People can see it. The portion of the country where people can go to bed and sleep soundly is not up to 18%. For 78% of the country, they are in war mode. Whatever problem you wake up in the morning and face is incomparable to what 78% of Nigerian territory is facing. They are under armed occupation, and the government is not doing anything sensible about it. So in terms of hunger, in terms of disparate whatever, there's nothing we need to tell the people about the inefficiency of the government. Even they talk about it, that they are out of debt. And you say, just take all their own utterances. So we're not going to spend time trying to interpret to the hungry man that there's no food. His stomach is telling him. What we are trying to do is give realistic platforms on every aspect of the government, what we are going to do. And that is why, unlike what has been in the past before, we set up the shadow cabinet. And we're getting more people into the shadow cabinet so that when we go to Nigerian people, we don't tell them the obvious. We don't tell them that it's raining cats and dogs. They see, they hear it. We'll put a roof over their head. We don't need to tell them that the government has abandoned them in terms of security. We give them solutions to their security. We don't need to tell them of the joblessness of the majority of the youths. We offer ideas and solutions of how to get them gainfully employed. So we are doing a lot of research, we do our matrix, we meet together, and we are not going to tell them about how we are going to treat them in government. We show them the credibility and the achievement of those who we are putting forward to occupy position and to offer themselves as public service. We don't need to tell them about transparency, about fighting corruption. They see the process by which we transparently raise resources to take people through elections and to go and serve them in the public.
All right.
So it's going to be different.
Okay.
We are bringing to Nigerians something that they can see and that comes from within them, that shows to them that this is a paradigm shift and it's a shift for the better.
Okay. Thank you very much, Adewole Adebayo. We will have time to talk more on this because there are so many other areas Nigerians would like to hear you talk about, especially relating to the third force, what the grand agenda is, and how Nigerians can key into all of this if need be. Thank you very much for your time on the program.
It's been a pleasure.
Right.